As a university student, going through online learning as an exchange of face-to-face learning has been exhausting. This has triggered the glorification of online learning during pandemic. Since March 6th, the government of Indonesia has declared that it is confirmed that the coronavirus has spread to Indonesia. Coronavirus disease, or COVID-19, is an infectious disease caused by a newly discovered coronavirus. The virus that caused COVID-19 is mainly transmitted through droplets generated when an infected person coughs, sneezes, or exhales. These droplets are too heavy to hang in the air and quickly fall on floors or surfaces. You can be infected by breathing in the virus if you are within close proximity of someone who has COVID-19, or by touching a contaminated surface and then your eyes, nose, or mouth. People with COVID-19 have had a wide range of symptoms reported, ranging from mild symptoms to severe illness. Symptoms may appear 2 to 14 days after exposure to the virus. Because of the fast-spreading and easily contracted the virus, schools and universities have shut down their face-to-face learning method and changed it to online learning as a safer option. The COVID-19 crisis and the unparalleled education disruption is far from over. As many as 100 countries have yet to announce a date for schools to reopen, and across the world, governments, unions, parents, and children are grappling with when and how to approach the next phase. Countries have started planning to reopen schools nationwide, either based on grade level and by prioritizing exam classes, or through localized openings in regions with fewer cases of the virus. However, given the continued virulence of the virus, the majority of countries surveyed in May to June in 2020 had yet to decide on a reopening date. These decisions carry enormous social and economic implications and will have lasting effects on educators, on children and youth, on their parents, especially women, and indeed on societies as a whole. This crisis has stimulated innovation within the educator section. We have seen innovative approaches in support of education and training continuity, from radio and television to take-home packages. The massive efforts made in a short time to respond to the shocks to education system reminds us that change is possible. We should seize the opportunity to find new ways to address the learning crisis and bring about a set of solutions previously considered difficult or impossible to implement. But these changes are drastically having downgrade as times go on. We're about to enter the second phase of lockdown, and our online learning method is still going flat. Online platforms were used with these tools included educational content for exploring if desired, real-time lesson on virtual meeting platforms, online support services for parents and students, and self-paced formalized lesson. While the educational community have made concerted efforts to maintain learning community during this period, children and students have had to rely more on their own resources to continue learning remotely through the internet, television, or radio. Teachers also had to adapt to new pedagogical concepts and modes of delivery of teaching, for which they may not have been trained. In particular, learners in the most marginalized groups who don't have access to digital learning resources or lack the resilience and engagement to learn on their own are at risk of falling behind. Many more problems are faced, such as inefficient learning. Students have been given assignments non-stop without any feedback or explanation given about the material. It's not rare that the assignments are given outside the schedule, and we end up with a pile of undone assignments by the end of the weekdays, resulting we have no time to relax on the weekend. All those has made a great impact to the students' grade and knowledge. It also have increased students' stress level up to 37%. 38%. This comes back to the very first beginning. We all thought that online learning will at least lift some of the burdens of face-to-face learning, but instead it actually adds up or even more tiring physically and mentally for us students. All of our imagination of studying at home at ease was only a false hope, and we regret glorifying online learning during pandemic.